the U.S. is warning about China's so-called peace plan for the war in Ukraine. China's leader Xi Jinping is discussing the proposal with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is calling the plan a stalling tactic at best. Foreign correspondent Tom Burridge is in Kyiv with more.
At the height of Putin's pivotal summit with China's President Xi, drone attacks overnight in Russian-occupied Crimea. Seen in these videos circulating online, the explosions destroying a stock of Russian cruise missiles, according to Ukrainian officials. The attacks coming just hours after Xi arriving in Moscow. The Chinese leader bringing his peace proposal on his first visit since Russia invaded Ukraine. And inside the Kremlin, just days after the International Criminal Court charged Putin with war crimes, Xi calling him a dear friend. Putin saying that Chinese peace proposal, which he has carefully studied, will be part of formal talks set to begin this morning. But US Secretary of State Antony Blinken hitting back, saying any initiative allowing Russian troops to remain on Ukrainian sovereign land is a stalling tactic.
Calling for a ceasefire that does not include the removal of Russian forces from Ukrainian territory would effectively be supporting the ratification of Russian conquest.
And Tom Burridge joins us now from Kyiv. Tom, formal talks are now underway between Xi and Putin. So how much of a priority is the war in Ukraine, and what are we expecting to hear from them?
I think it isn't the biggest issue for China, Diane. I mean, the war in Ukraine is the backdrop to this summit, but I think for China, it's about economic interests, it's about access to Russian energy. But I think, for Russia, it clearly is front and center, and therefore, formal talks are now underway. We heard from President Putin yesterday saying he had studied this Chinese peace proposal. Xi didn't mention Ukraine at all yesterday. Let's see the language tonight. I think for China, really, it suits the Chinese that they have a fairly ambiguous position on the war in Ukraine. I mean, they don't condemn it, they don't condemn Russia's invasion, and they're not supplying, as far as we're aware, lethal aid to Ukraine, to Russia right now. They're providing electrical components to the Russian military. That helps the Russians. But in broad terms, they are sort of talking the talk for Russia in terms of the propaganda and the messaging. And I think, Putin probably will be nudging Xi in a sort of more concrete direction. It remains to be seen whether he'll achieve that. And in a way, the more this war drags on, the more the Western weapon stocks and ammunition are depleted. That kind of suits the Chinese in a sense. And here they come as the kind of kingmakers trying to make peace, even though in reality there's not much substance in their peace proposal, and making peace here in Ukraine will be very, very different to the recent massive deal they did manage to get between the Saudis and the Iranians, which was a massive diplomatic coup.
Now, Tom, all of this is happening as Ukraine claims it destroyed Russian cruise missiles in Crimea with drones in this video circulating online. So what do we know about that so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, the details are sparse. We've seen the videos. Ukrainian officials are saying that they used drones to hit targets in Russian-annexed Crimea. Remember, Crimea was taken by Russia. It basically annexed the peninsula back in 2014. I mean, the Ukrainians are claiming that they used these drones to hit Russian cruise missiles, a stock of Russian cruise missiles on a railway. I mean, I've just come off a briefing with Western officials. Those Western officials are not confirming those details about hit in this attack. But I mean, there's other incidents or events happening. We had the Russians saying they'd intercepted American B-52 bombers over the Baltic Sea. We've got the Japanese Prime Minister rolling into town here in Ukraine, the first time that a Japanese leader has been in a country at war since World War II. I think all of these events, the timing of them is not coincidental, and it speaks to how important this summit between Russia and China is. Diane?
All right, Tom Burridge in Kyiv, thank you.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube. Now the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war is about to enter its 14th month. Intense fighting is on across Ukraine's eastern front as diplomacy heats up in the capitals of the varying nations. Chinese President Xi Jinping is in Moscow right now, while Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is in Kiev. While Xi's Moscow visit was much anticipated, Kishida's Ukraine visit was unannounced. Moreover, the timing of the visit set the stage for competing displays of support from the East Asian neighbors. Coinciding with the news of Japanese Prime Minister's unannounced Ukraine visit, 2 Russian strategic bomber planes flew over the Sea of Japan. That too for more than 7 hours. The Tu-95MS planes are capable of carrying nuclear weapons. Moscow regularly flies them over international waters as a show of strength. Russia says that the strategic bombers made a quote-unquote planned flight escorted by fighter planes. Russian Defense Ministry says that it was carried out in strict compliance with international law and was made to fly over neutral waters only.
Praise Yahweh Shemil Shalom. Give all praise Yahweh Shemil Shalom Shem Kakadash. Honors the elders, apostle men, and truth for them regarding truth and knowledge. We know the truth and knowledge. The Wadi Yahweh Shemil shall put in the spirit of the elders, apostle men, and the truth from them regarding this truth and knowledge. So we know this truth and knowledge. And call holy Yahweh Shemil Shalom Shem Kakadash. Give all praise Yahweh Shemil Shem Kakadash. 2 reports related to Putin and Xi Jinping visit. Talking about peace talks related to Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin's so-called talks, and Russian flies over strategic Tupolev strategic bombers over the Sea of Japan, while Prime Minister Kishida visits. So that's 2 reports, Wion and ABC News. Get some scriptures real quick, something quick. Ecclesiastes 3:8. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. So we're in a time of war, man. You know, these nations are building their, doing simulation drills and preparing, showing their arsenal weaponry and different things. And really they're preparing for what they know is inevitable, man, something that can't be avoided. So we're in a time of war, man. You know what I mean? These nations gathering together, building up. Matthew 10:34. Think not that I come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. So the Lord is not sending peace, man. Ultimately, the sword is that judgment, man. Matthew 24:6-7. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So you're going to hear wars, rumors, and gossip of wars. See that ye be not troubled, be not marveled, perplexed, or dismayed. For all these things must come to pass, but the end shall not yet. The end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence, which are plagues, earthquakes in different places. So earthquakes all over. Forms of moran, which is pestilence. You see famines, whether manufacturally, natural, or otherwise. Shortages, victual supplies. You're seeing, I'm hearing of wars and rumors of wars. You know, so, and you're actually seeing the wars. For example, you're over a year, a month relating to Ukraine and Russia. You know, continuation, man. And you see these nations, gather together, man. You know. Let me get a scripture right quick. This is Joel 3 and 9. Make this announcement, which goes to proclaiming among the nations, the nations, which are the Gentile nations, all the nations, prepare for war. Call your warriors. Your warriors what? Your soldiers, your fighters. Gather all your soldiers and march. So preparing them for war, man. Hammer the points of your plows into swords, and your pruning knives into spears. So getting your weapons sharpened up, refurbished, getting them ready to use for what? War, man. Even the weak must fight. So even the weak, the strong, are going to have to fight, man. We go to Isaiah 3 and 20, 25. Let's get the regular one. I'll get the KJV. That last one I read was from a G&T version. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in war. So the mighty men are going to fall by the sword, is judgment. The mighty, which are the soldiers, they're going to die in war, man. And her gates, which is the city, shall lament and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground. It's like a woman mourning, pretty much bare and naked, man, exposed and naked, man. And that relates pretty much to state and condition, how it's going to be in that times, man. And symbolically, I'm getting another scripture relating to husbands and wives fighting. Let me get that one real quick. Second Ezra 16. Let's get that one real quick. Go to 22 first, second Ezra. Here we go. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. So it's a famine, man. And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Scripture talk about better to die by the sword than by hunger, because hunger is a slow death, man. It's a excruciating, deteriorating death. You know what I mean? Where the body becomes its own enemy, attacks itself. Go to the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegroom. So the virgin is going to mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers, which are helpmates, man. And this goes to both the men and the women, man, because both men and women relating to the war. They're going to go to war, man. It's going to be a draft because the numbers are kind of down, relating to militarily. So it's going to be a draft's going to be implemented to increase those numbers, man. And in wars there shall be bridegrooms be destroyed. So in wars, the husband, the wife, they're gonna perish, man. And their husband shall perish of famine. So either of war or of famine, man. That's like that woman, the scripture talk about that woman mourning, man, naked, man. That can be that's the women actually mourning, because of what's of the things that's going on. She mourning, exposed, and really that relates to this overall general, relating to the things that's going to be going on, relating to the state and condition of things going on in the society, man. So this is part of that. Wars and in war shall the bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husband shall perish of famine. So they're going to perish, both the husband and wives, because equally they're going to be in the military. Men are going to go to war and women going to go to war. Equal gender, man. So they're going to go to war, man. So-called. Go back to, let me see. Here's another, this is another version of it. Your men will fall by the sword, your warriors in battle, which is war. The gates of Zion will lament, which is the city. They're going to lament and mourn, man. Destitute, because of the condition. She will sit on the ground. That woman sitting on the ground mourning, man. Let me see. Yeah, this was just a few scriptures relating to that. Let's see what that was. Let me get Isaiah 9 and 5. Let me get that. Forgot that. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise. And that confused noise is relating to pretty much that, related to like the ancient ways where they used to fight with weaponry, hand to hand, and the clinking and the clinking sounds of the metal hitting each other, and the garments rolled in blood, because when they hitting each other with these weapons, man, the weapons were stabbed upon their garments and they would be bleeding, man. But this shall be with burning fuel and fire, ultimately the missiles, man. So the ancient ways, they fought hand to hand, man, using axes, using swords, different types of staff knives and stuff, so for fight. So that's what that's talking about. Go to Ezekiel. Scripture talks about when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. So when they think it's peace and safety, then what? Sudden goes to something that's unexpected, unplanned, unexpected. You know, and they weren't expecting it. You know what I mean? So part of that ultimately relates to Revelations 9 and 12, Revelations 11 and 14 talk. But it talks about also a variety of things. War is part of that as well, man. 7 and 25, Ezekiel. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace. So they're going to seek peace, but destruction is going to come. So when they say peace and safety, what? The sudden destruction comes, because they're gonna be in a mindset of peace and safety, man, not knowing really destruction is coming. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. There's not going to be none, because while they seeking a false sense of peace and safety, chaos and destruction and mayhem is happening, man. So there's going to be no peace, man. Think not that I come to send peace, but I say nay, but rather division. You know what I mean? So 12 and 51, you know, of Luke. For already if the fire be kindled. You know what I mean? So the Lord is sending a certain vibration, spiritual vibration on earth, man. This was a few scriptures relating to talking about that, those two videos. Let me see this, get this scripture right quick. Let me get it since I quoted it. I come to send fire on earth, and what will if it already be kindled? That's physical fire, and also the vibration of, that spiritually is being set forth, man. Suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth. So that's a question. So no, the Lord is not giving peace on earth. I tell you nay, but rather division. So that spirit of division is part of that as well, man. And through these nations, these kingdoms fighting one another, mighty powers, building, preparing for war. That's part of that division. I hope this helps whoever listens. I'll give all praise, Yahweh Shem El Shabbat Shem Rakakadash. This is Zayah Wolf Shalom.